Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door, and I'm here on a rural roadside in the Appalachian Mountains of Southwest Virginia with a very vigorous stand of milkweed. The milkweed is the most fantastic thing for helping to preserve monarch butterflies and their iconic migration. The monarch migration phenomena is at risk for many, many reasons, including overuse of herbicides, overuse of pesticides, destruction of their habitat in Mexico, where they overwinter in the transvolcanic mountain range and the Omael forests, risks due to changes in weather and more severe weather events, including cold and heat and dryness and drought, and also interference along the migratory routes. But for me, one of the most important things that you can do as a resident in North America is to encourage the growth of milkweed on your property or near your property and learn how to identify it. Milkweed is the only thing monarchs eat, and research has proven that the native species of milkweeds that are in North America are the very, very best plants to have in your yard or garden. The exotic milkweeds, while they're pretty, don't do as well in terms of survival of monarchs and migratory monarchs and development of healthy larvae and caterpillars. There's butterfly weed, swamp milkweed, and common milkweed. They're all acepulous. They're all native, but this is by far my favorite native plant to encourage people to plant in their gardens or to nurture if they see it sprouting up. All too often, people aren't sure what this is. Sometimes people just think it's a weed, or sometimes when it's coming up, they don't recognize it as milkweed in the springtime. So in this episode today, I want to help you learn how to positively identify milkweed, never make a mistake, always know what it is with 100% certainty. So here along this roadside, I have milkweed in almost every stage of life that I can show you. When milkweed first starts coming up, it's probably the most difficult to recognize or identify until you've had a little practice. And what to look for is, of course, these large oblong leaves. And if you look at the leaves close up, you'll see that the top is a smooth green, and underneath is almost a velvety, softer side to it. They all have a very distinctive midrib, and if you flip the leaf over, you'll see this midrib very well defined with lateral veins coming out on the sides of the leaf. Another telltale identifier of milkweed, of course, is if you tear it and look on the edges of the leaf, you'll see a milky white sap start to exude from that leaf. And that's a really, really good identifier. I also need to remind you that milkweed is toxic. As I get some of this milky substance all over my hands as I'm teaching you, milkweed contains cardiac glycosides, which evolved with the plant in order to prevent herbivory, to discourage animals from eating this toxic and really distasteful plant. And this milky substance also interferes with the jaws of insects that might try to eat it. The benefit for monarchs is that they have co-evolved with the milkweed. And not only are they immune to the toxin, but they incorporate the toxin into their bodies, making all stages of the monarch butterfly toxic to predators. From egg to larva to the adults, this toxin is carried through the life cycle. And they advertise that instead of having camouflage colors in their developmental and their adult stages, the larvae, of course, are this bright black and white and yellow colors. The adults are the classic warning coloration, black and orange, to identify toxic organisms. So instead of trying to blend into the background and camouflage themselves, they actually advertise themselves with bright colors to indicate to other organisms that they are toxic. When you look at milkweed, another characteristic is it's always one single stem, and it's a pretty stout stem. The stem is very fibrous and it's actually very difficult to break, and you really can't break it with your hands. You'll need a pair of scissors or garden shears to cut it because of all those fibers. So historically, milkweed fibers were used to make rope because of their very stoutness. So always look for a single stem to identify milkweed. It never branches out. If you look at a milkweed plant from the top, you'll see that the leaves radiate out at 90-degree angles. And if you look at milkweed from the side, you'll see the leaves are always arranged opposite each other. So the leaves come out at opposite points on the stem. But as you go up the ladder of leaves along the sides, you'll see that they rotate 90 degrees at each level. So if you look down from the very top of a milkweed, you'll see this symmetry of alternating leaves on the stem, but also set at 90-degree angles. At each level, they'll rotate 90 degrees to create a very, very symmetrical plant. Another thing I love about milkweed is these unique flowers. They are so large, they're bright, they are laden with nectar. They're fantastic for all pollinators, not just monarch butterflies. The adult monarchs in breeding season, of course, are attracted to the milkweed because this is the only place they'll lay the eggs. Of course, the caterpillars, this is the only thing that they'll eat. But while they're there laying eggs, they can get lots of nectar from these flowers as well. You can see that these flowers attract many, many different pollinators, not just monarchs. So milkweed is great for your pollinator garden. After the flowers have been pollinated and they mature, they'll produce these characteristic seed pods with these very, very interesting extensions along the sides of them. They come out into a point. And later in the season, these seed pods, when fully developed and the plant starts to gray and turn brown with the fall of the season, these pods will break open, producing copious amounts of windblown seeds that are carried on these fibers. I did a really cool episode on the history of these fibers, and during World War II, these fibers were used to stuff life vests and saved many, many lives. During the war, there was a shortage of other materials to pack life vests with. So during the war, they had school kids go out and collect milkweed pods so the fibers, which were naturally water repellent, could be stuffed into life vests and save many lives. The monarch migration phenomena is just such an incredible thing. Monarchs that overwinter in the Transvolcanic mountain range in Mexico in the springtime will fly north and land on the first milkweed they find in southern North America. There, they lay their eggs. That generation dies, and succeeding generations will follow the emergence of milkweed north in the spring until finally, 3 or 4 generations later, they'll arrive in Canada. And it's that last generation that will turn around, make that migration back to Mexico, a place they've never been before, which is so incredible how somehow the DNA codes in them this instinct to migrate and find a pinpoint on a map. Just an incredible thing. There is no other insect migration in the world like this. Nothing on this scale. Again, there's so many factors that are impacting the population of monarch butterflies, and a lot of them are out of your personal control. But something that you can do is you can foster the growth of milkweed on your property. You can buy milkweed seeds, you can buy milkweed from native plant suppliers. You can collect milkweed seeds in the fall along roadsides like this as the pods mature, and plant milkweed in your gardens. Some of my videos, I've had up to 2.5 million views. And I'm just thinking, man, if I could influence this and I could get 1 million people to plant milkweed in their backyards, could that really make a difference? If you want to make a personal impact on the monarch migration and help protect this species, this thing that you can do is plant milkweed or at least recognize it in your garden and avoid mowing it down or cutting it down. Thanks for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door, and check out my Monarch playlist. I have many, many videos about the migration, about protecting the migration, about rearing caterpillars, about how to find eggs on milkweed, and its fascinating story in detail about how kids used to go out during World War II and collect milkweed pods to help save lives on ships. Remember, if you like what I do on this channel, please subscribe, give me a like, and leave me a comment. I love hearing from my viewers. And remember, I cover all things nature, from frogs, toads, snakes, and turtles, the myriapoda, insects, trees, wildflowers, and fungi. I cover all the things you might encounter just outside your door. Thanks again for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door.